Hey everyone, I'm the Canadian Lad, and today I watched Black Panther Wakanda Forever at 0.2 Febix speed and found 18 new details that you may or may not have seen before. Now this was something fun to watch in slow motion, and let me tell you why. Because after a long time, Marvel finally produced something worth watching, and it was made by creators who actually love and know the characters. So it was really fun watching this movie in slow motion because I know director Ryan Coogler does go out of his way to leave something for the eagle-eyed fans out there. So without any further ado, let's begin. Number 1. The first time we see King T'Challa's casket in the film, if you look closely, you can spot T'Challa's spear and shield on the ground, which he used in Black Panther 1. And I think the reason Ryan Coogler decided to add this spear and the shield next to his casket is to convey that without T'Challa, the shield of Wakanda is now gone. Number 2. Shuri has long hair at the beginning of the film, when according to the story, T'Challa was still alive. But then we have a 1-year time jump, and after that, Shuri is seen with shorter hair. Now, in many cultures on the African continent, people do shave their head as a part of the mourning process. Number 3. The first battle in this movie takes place in the Wakandan Outreach Center, and there we see the Dora Milaje, including a NECA. Now notice a very cool VFX detail here. A NECA's dagger is of course made of vibranium, and it's completely holographic. And that's not even it. Notice this same dagger then transforms into a holographic shield when a NECA has to defend herself. This is actually a brand new invention of Shuri to replace their signature spears.
Where is your spear? Shuri gave me this to try. I like them better.
Number 4. In this same fight, one thing that really grabbed my attention is that whenever this military men were under attack by the Dora Milaje, they were actually pulling the triggers on their guns without seeing. Now this is a very authentic piece of choreography, because I would imagine if someone with a gun is attacked this way, they will indeed try to pull the trigger aimlessly as a last-ditch effort to save themselves. I found more hidden details on the action choreography. Keep watching the video, it keeps getting better. Number 5. The Dora Milaje general is always adorned in gold. I don't think I need to explain anything anymore about this detail, do I? Number 6. After meeting Namor for the first time, Queen Ramonda calls for a council meeting the next day to discuss what they should do regarding Namor. And there, one of the elders suggests handing over Riri to Namor, basically doing what Namor asked for. But Queen Ramonda doesn't like her answer.
He wants us to deliver one American scientist so he can kill them.
Do it.
And that's when M'Baku reminds them how the council accepted Killmonger, which was a wrong decision, implying the council doesn't always make the right choices.
Is because this wise council allowed Killmonger to take the throne and burn up all of your precious heart-shaped jab.
Ramonda then sincerely asks M'Baku what he would do regarding Namor.
M'Baku, what would you have us do?
Now this entire scene has an underlying message here, and that is Queen Ramonda doesn't trust or like any of the elders in her council, other than M'Baku. She later reveals she still resents the other elders and Okoye for initially supporting Killmonger.
I stood by you after Killmonger took the throne, and you and the elders in this room stood by him while I ran begging to the Jabari for protection.
So even though Queen Ramonda hasn't banished anyone from the council, but it's only M'Baku that she trusts, because he supported the royal family when he didn't need to. Number 7. When Shuri and Okoye come to take Riri to Wakanda, she attempts to defend herself with a space heater, and there Okoye and Shuri say this.
And she can deal with that merman with the winged ankles who wants to kill her all by herself. You got this.
With your heater.
Oh.
Now later in the film, it is revealed that they can actually weaken Namor's powers by building a large space heater which would evaporate the water on his skin. So this scene where Okoye and Shuri were mocking Riri was actually foreshadowing the ending of this film. Number 8. In the chasing sequence where the feds are going after Shuri, Okoye and Riri, there we see this huge explosion on the bridge. Now at the time, we didn't know who threw this grenade or the fact that these are water bombs. But once it explodes and Namora shows up, that's when we get to know it was thrown by the Talokans, aka Namor's people. But notice even before this bomb exploded, the VFX team gave us a hint already as to who is behind it. Notice this water splash as this bomb was rolling underneath the car. This splash of water is an amazing hidden detail, to be honest, because this entire scene is CG. That means everything that we see here is computer generated, and we wouldn't even complain if there was no splash of water. But they still made sure to add this extra bit of touch for just 2 frames, and that's why I say when Marvel gives time and effort, nobody can match their level of CGI. Number 9. Namor told Shuri that he could swim in the sky and age slower.
I could swim in the sky and age slower.
Now, when he said it, I initially thought he's just using the word swim as another means to say fly, like flying in the sky, which he actually does. But upon watching this film in slow motion, I actually found something else. Notice Namor's hand movements here. He moves his hand the exact same way as he would if he were to swim. He even moves his feet in a fashion as if he's swimming. So we have to take Namor's words at face value here. He literally meant it. It's not a metaphor. He does indeed swim in the sky. So from his perspective, he's not flying, he swims. Number 10. Now this one could have been included with the previous detail, but I just feel it needs its own recognition. And the detail is this. Notice how Namor makes a dive mid-air, like someone diving in the ocean. So yes, he does swim in the sky. But why did I say this detail needs its own recognition? It's because I want us to acknowledge the choreography here. They didn't just put in random dialogue and make Namor fly like Thor or Iron Man. They really made him different. He hovers his hand like he's swimming, and he dives in the air as if he's diving in the ocean. So I really appreciate the fact that Marvel and Ryan Coogler took their time to make this character different. And of course, kudos to Tenoch Huerta, who played this character with all his heart. I'm sorry if I butchered his name, but you know how we people are.
Huh? What do you mean, you people?
Number 11. Okoye very proudly said that under her command, she will not let anybody use the new dagger that Shuri invented, as she is loyal to their signature spears.
It will not change under my watch.
Yes, General.
But in the final battle where Okoye dons the Midnight Angel suit, there we can see she has now switched to using Shuri's new vibranium daggers. And just notice how incredibly efficient they are. It literally stabs the target and then comes back to its wielder. Kinda like Thor's hammer, eh? Number 12. When Shuri decides to spare Namor, she mentions how they shouldn't let vengeance consume them, which is similar to what T'Challa said to Zemo when he spared his life in Captain America Civil War.
Vengeance has consumed us. We cannot let it consume our people.
Vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I'm done letting it consume me.
Now Shuri wasn't there when T'Challa said it, so how does she know it? And that tells me that Queen Ramonda and King T'Chaka raised two wonderful children who don't share the same gender, but they follow the same principles and morality, and they were born to be leaders. T'Challa was a better king than his father, and by letting Namor go, Shuri has lived up to the standards of T'Challa. Number 13. The Wakanda language is translated in the movie in yellow subtitles. The Talokan language in blue, and French and Spanish are in white. This actually comes in handy when Nakia approaches a woman in Mexico and speaks Spanish to her, and then switches to Talokan. The text turning blue is an indication to the audience that Nakia knows the Talokan language. Number 14. When M'Baku attempts to talk to Shuri after Queen Ramonda's death, she asks him if now he's willing to hear from a child who scoffs at tradition.
So now you are keen to hear from a child who scoffs at tradition?
This is a nod to M'Baku's line from Black Panther 1.
As your technological advancements have been overseen by a child who scoffs at tradition.
Number 15. When M'Baku makes his first appearance in this film, we can see that he's chewing on a carrot, which is likely a nod to the fact that he's a vegetarian.
You cannot talk. One more word, and I will feed you to my children.
I'm kidding, we are vegetarians.
Number 16. When Anderson Cooper is reporting on CNN about Wakanda, the News Chiron talks about Scott Lang's new book, Look Out for the Little Guy. Now, because this movie came out before Quantumania, so this was actually a foreshadowing there. Number 17. At the end of the film, Everett Ross was being carried in a prisoner transport because he stood by the Wakandans going against the US government. Anyway, notice the license plate. It reads CB112976, a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, who was born on November 29, 1976. Number 18. Nakia's house number in Haiti is 1804, and of course I googled it and found that 1804 is the year Haiti received its independence from French colonial rule, specifically on January 1st, 1804. And that's it. This would be my breakdown of Black Panther Wakanda Forever at 0.2 Febix speed. I hope I gave you some details you didn't catch in your first viewing. I'm thinking to rewatch Captain America Civil War at 0.2 Febix speed because the last time I watched it was 2 years ago, and in the meantime my skills of catching details have gotten better. So perhaps I can dissect more hidden details from that movie. Plus, it's one of the best movies in the entire MCU, so why not? But let me know if you lads want it though. Otherwise, please comment below which movie should I watch next. Till then, please give me a thumbs up, grab the subscribe button, and turn notifications on. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter to get updates about my videos. I'll see you lads in the next one.